second semifinal now. It's going to be Ostkaka versus Thijs. Thijs is the last of the G2 team, but they did get, unfortunately matched up against each other in today's quarterfinals. So only one person could go through, and it is going to be up against Ostkaka. Pretty interesting. I think it's safe to say that the Warrior is the third wheel of this lineup, but overall, I think it is among the better lineups, even still out of the decks remaining in the tournament.
Yeah, I definitely think so. The remaining decks are taking a personality of their own, but with the priests remaining, I'm definitely feeling Ostkaka's lineup more. I think again, JJ's liability was that his mid-range shaman lost a little bit more than it should have, giving him less chances for him to actually get an ideal setup going to game 4s and 5. Just more chances for your druid to draw the right set of cards is what you really want. So now that he has rogue, it's inevitably going to strike a win. I think it'd be very surprising to see dragon decks be able to win so convincingly against a rogue deck. However, we've seen weirder matchups happen, outcomes happen with bad matchups. So I'm just ready to roll the punches, Grab. I'm ready to go.
On the other side of that, we've seen that the G2 lineup does do very well against shamans. The druid is just pretty good against shaman in general, and the priest and warrior, I think, do have favorable matchups against that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's fair.
I think Thijs is maybe a bit advantageous in the lineups because of that. I think I'd have to sway this Thijs' side 1%.
1%. So you're saying 51 to 49.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean towards Ostkaka. I'm going to say that I think he's got the edge. He's got the historical edge as well. Last time he denied Thijs tens of thousands of dollars from being able to draw the Alex draws at the right time and being able to win a very nice chess match. People tout Ostkaka versus Thijs as one of the best series of 2015. And so we have another date, potentially with a really great set of games. I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys have.
Yeah. It's going to be a Druid from Thijs and Rogue from Ostkaka to open things up. I kind of like this hand from Ostkaka, but we've seen that he is very aggressive in getting that Gadsden combo going. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a number of these cards dropped.
Yeah, it's continuing to see like more evolution as time goes on as well, which is definitely interesting with that. To just also think about what Rogue really wants against the Druid. You can argue 3 out of 4 cards are there already, and even with the advent of Living Roots populating the board so frequently, there's also a case for cards like Fan, but I think you still want the SI, you still want the backstab. Even Eviscerate to a certain degree is not too bad in some cases if they just... With Savage Combatant being such a popular pick, it's not too uncommon to like use Eviscerate early on in the game as Rogue. But you still want the threats, the minions that can complete on the board.
Well, this hand does answer the Darnassus Aspirant, but I think Ostkaka might be pushed to use that coin. It is something I'm sure he doesn't want to do, though.
I mean, you can. I think the threat of the 4-drop is not as significant as it used to be because Pilot Shredder was such a problematic card for Rogue. You can deadly poison it, and you'd still take like 9 to 12, 13 damage sometimes because the minion was just so resilient. Versus Savage Combatant, you can actually clean remove it, like we were mentioning. But it is still a big threat that you want to take out. Like, it's just not as big as it used to be. And it just so happens that it's okay. Like, Druid doesn't really want to be playing Keep of the Grove to the face anyways. So that's like the power of the imminent threat as opposed to the actual threat.
Well, the Deadly Poison works very well here, as the only minion that the Druid can develop is something that dies immediately to the Deadly Poison. But I think even when that happens, you're not too sad about it. So I'd be surprised to see Thijs not make that play, as just dropping a weapon drops another Blade Flurry potential. And that's even more relevant now than before, because before you could play things like Oil to give you a third and maybe even a fourth weapon buff for Blade Flurry, but now you just have the 2 deadly poisons.
Well, some people are running Assassin's Blade in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ostkaka is of that anymore. In fact, I think we have no more Assassin's Blade remaining. We've seen a good chunk of Ostkaka's deck. He's got the Cold Bloods, the Shivs, he's got the Van Cleefs, but he doesn't really have those huge, crazy, like, Leroys and Shadow Steps and whatnot. In fact, he just has to win with board control. He chooses also to re-dagger as opposed to play the Farseer, and this is because now that he has SI 7H and he really wants to try and establish good board presence once again by using Deadly Poison and the SI. So I like that he's planning his future turns instead of going for very obvious, like, oh yeah, of course I Farseer, I have 2 of them and I just killed.
Yep, that's the idea, but it might not work out too well.
I must
mean, you do combo, but you're comboing against a very mediocre minion. I think here you might even just Farseer, I think is the interesting part. Because Farseeing here, you can Shiv and SI. Oh, no, he's going to go for it. Very aggressive for the board.
I think that's what Rogue really wants. Just keep the board as clean as possible. They're OCD in a way because of it. They just keep wanting to scrub everything as clean as possible so that way they can have these minions, which don't seem imposing. 3/3s aren't the like game-defining stat lines, but with Cold Blood as a potential threat, and as you like start to line up more draws into conceals and had the Gadgetzan to rev the engines, I mean the deck can rack up damage quick. I have to admit I've been underestimating how much damage the Cold Bloods would do, just because we haven't seen it very commonly in the metagame. But now that I see it in action, given the removal options for many classes now, it seems really effective.
What can we expect this turn? Probably Wrath for 3. Standard 2 1/1s. 1/1s are quite effective against the Deadly Poison weapon, Hero Power. Fairly low tempo turn, but I mean, it seems like the Druids do just miss a turn or two. It's just the way that they roll out typically.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, when Druid rolls out all that momentum and tempo, it's like, you really need to stop it, but when it doesn't, it just seems like it can't do anything. And because the hero power still doesn't have much effect. It's not putting anything on the board, it's not the most amount of damage, and the life gain it has is somewhat negligible sometimes until the late stages of the match. Emperor Thorson here seems to be the foregone conclusion, just because you don't have anything else to do. But
pretty good. Like, you can keep her and well, not keep her. You can Ancient of Lore and use the Darnassus Aspirant next turn together.
You're not very optimistic though. I think because Rogue has holding like a decent amount of cards. Oh man, look at this aggressive move again. See, this is one of the things that I was thinking. I was like, wow, he just drew Tomb Pillager. That's convenient for the mana usage. But like Rogue is just gonna keep leveraging his board, and you just have to imagine as if the Cold Blood is kind of like an oil, where it's just,
yeah,
I'm just gonna use this board and use my removal, so that way I can keep doing damage, and I'm gonna use Sap. I'm gonna use my Conceal to once again mask this as 8 damage, 12 damage, maybe even around there instead of 4.
Well, he will get multiple damage hits, but the issue is that he might just die to a combo.
Balloon, guide my lands.
Like, if the Ancient is still up and he draws a Force of Nature, that's lethal.
You are correct.
He's got to sap it. That kind of works.
You can sap it. Yeah, you can sap, play the Pillager, and Conceal after you kill the Aspirant. That's pretty reasonable.
Would you kill the Aspirant?
Well, that's also a good question. Maybe you can set up a lethal that way. Yeah, actually, you're right. You don't kill the Aspirant. You just go face. Because then you have 15 damage, and then you force your opponent to Ancient of Lore heal. So, yeah, I think that's the right play. Good observation, Crip. Well.
Yeah.
I guess you're forced to heal yourself. You could... No, you can't do that. I was like, you could try to get away with just a Farseer, but I think the Ancient of Lore heal yourself is your best course of action.
Yeah. Throw a hero power in there. And you can redraw with Wild Growth. And still combo if you draw it. So Thijs could still win this game. This is not over.
Not out of the question. Right now we're looking for Eviscerate off the top. Eviscerate would be 20 damage.
That can draw though.
Yeah, the
That
coin. We forgot about that. So Gadget Sand, coin, but you can't lethal this turn.
No. Well, yeah, you could. Like prep eviscerate. Good luck.
Yeah, you're right. Not the prep.
Oh, that could work. No, oh no, he's going for the trade.
Yeah, doesn't want Swipe to ruin him. Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Man, that Cold Blood has done 12 damage so far, on top of the Farseer hitting every turn. Again, getting so much mileage out of something that we weren't really anticipating being able to do. No, and oh, the Dionysus Aspirin dying also means no Wild Growth cycle for Thijs.
Yep.
That's brutal.
That is pretty brutal.
Not only is that brutal, is that the game?
Oh, man. Well, what if he doesn't give credit for any more spells? If he gives no credit for spells, he leaves the gadgets and he kills the 7/3. And he heals.
I think that's his best move. It says, I hope you have no spells. I mean, bro's only holding 2 cards. That might be a higher likelihood.
Well, he can kill the gadgets, and he's actually alive because he heals himself. He's alive to the board. So he actually could kill both.
Yeah, but the problem is now you're still giving him... You still have a chance to win, but it depends on what you think is more likely. Is it more likely he has spells to kill you now, or he has spells to draw into things that kill you later? Thalnos, Backstab, Van Cleef, and you know what?
Druid could still win.
Druid could still win. So that's why you have to trade into these minions and kill them somehow.
Yeah, the 3/3 into the 2/4 and a dagger puts you at 15, which I think is out of combo range. As far as you see it, yeah.
Supposedly.
There's only one Tharson card. I mean, what could it be, right?
That you haven't played, and okay, you're right. It's not likely, but it's the reality. That's the thing that you have to always be the most careful about.
Well, the Van Cleef would be a 6/6. No, kind of work. All right.
Okay.
Goes for the super safe play. Now it's a swipe that will do some decent damage here.
Swipe would make the rogue's life really difficult, but it gives it a draw. And Thijs has 3 draws. 1 with the turn, 2 with the wild growth. What?
Combo!
He almost had it! So, oh my god. Krip, you're saying, yeah, as far as he knows, but Ostkaka somehow stayed alive. He played around the Innervate combo, or in this case, the Thorson reduced combo.
I think he has to draw. I think he's thinking of defensively comboing, but I think if he does that, he's kind of throwing his win condition. A defensive combo would mean 2 Savage Treants into the 6/6, 1 into the 7/1, and a Hero Power into the 3/3. Oh, I guess he's doing it.
He doesn't want to take any chances. This is his one chance to do it. If he was able to still kill the Farseer without having Hero Power, he certainly would Wild Growth, but he now needs to. So he doesn't want to Wild Growth, realize he needs to do this, and then be in trouble. Fan's really nothing, just cycles through the deck.
3 mana.
Yeah, lose 3 mana, draw a card. No!
Oh god!
Gain back the 3 mana! Wow, both of these guys with just pretty empty hands, but the good thing is that Wild Growth can cycle, Preparation only can cycle with the Gadget Sand.
Well, prep can combo. That is relevant.
Yes.
It might give him an extra out.
Nice draw.
Is it? I think you're looking for better than that. I think you want 2 chances at like a taunt.
So you want the Wild Growth first?
Well, it's obviously not easy because it hasn't happened yet. But I'm thinking that Wild Growth might have a better expected result.
Yeah, Wild Growth still gives you the ability to Hero Power and Azure Drake if you need to kill the Thalnos. But I don't know if you even want to kill Thalnos. It's like one of those things that you brought up.
You don't want to kill Thalnos. You want Thalnos to kill itself.
Yeah, you want to silence Thalnos.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He could have a 2-turn lethal Krip.
Yep.
If Ragnaros plays and goes to the face, you get 9, and if Rogue can't kill him, I mean that's your out. You gotta go for it.
I guess so. Ostkaka will get 2 draws though. I think Ostkaka is above 50% to win this game. I think Ostkaka is actually probably in like the 60s or 70s, especially with that. Oh no, not with that though. Oh no! What?
But you know the thing is, he still has another turn because Ragnaros didn't hit the face. But like so now, if he picked up Gadget Sand, it's almost certainly going to be lethal, right? Because he's going to keep hitting face with the hero power, so he's going to be at 4. And no matter what Druid does, he just has to get 1 Gadget Sand or 1 Eviscerate, and the game's over.
I can't believe this is happening. Those are the worst draws in the entire deck in consecutive order.
Oh man, that's Drake then. Drake gives you best chance for some kind of taunt, right? A Wild Growth? Oh, because he wants to Hero Power again, too. Hero Power and taunt. That also makes sense. He's giving up his tokens for it. No, didn't do anything. Farseer, number 2? I think he played
He's got another combo. So all he has to do is stay alive.
It doesn't matter. He was going to win next turn anyways, I think. Like, putting down to 8. No!
Wow!
He's gonna show
that. That
Oh
is some real RNG there. What
card game?
What was worse than that?
Card games in a nutshell. It's
There's
like,
nothing worse than that.
yeah, but that's just the way card games go, Krip. There's nothing you can do. No amount of blaming Dr. Boomer Shredder will fix that.
Oh my!
Wow. But you know
never
what?
lucky.
That was quite the turnaround. I mean, that's ultimately why some people really love these kinds of games, for better or for worse, because the human psyche. You can always come back. You never know what's going to happen, and you always think it's not likely, right? How to draw those 4 cards in those orders is very unlikely, but it did happen, and it gave Thijs a very crucial game 1 win.
Yeah. It was a pretty crucial one. I mean, those are both decks that I think can win fairly well. It's Warrior now. I think this is actually a great matchup for Thijs. The Warrior deck
Warrior Rogue is still very good for the Warrior?
Well, if it can get a win here, it won't automatically lose versus the Druid, so I like that part.
That's true. Like losing here would be a very snowbally effect because you missed your window to win with a better matchup, so you have to play a worse matchup now.
Yeah, I think the
Very
best
funny
matchup
how that
for the
works.
Warrior might be Shaman. I think it is Shaman.
Yes. Ostkaka has Druid and Shaman after this Rogue. Thijs has the Priest. So the reason why traditionally the Warrior felt very good against Rogue, and we're talking about controlled defensive type warriors that have access to shield block, Justicar, etc. It's because a rogue has a finite amount of damage and a finite amount of minions, and because it's so spell intensive, it doesn't have access to much pressure if you can't forcibly seize the tempo. However, Warrior's lost some of its best tools. It's lost Death's Bite, which is a great answer to Violet Teacher. It's lost Brawl, which used to be one of the ways you actually can fight Gadgets and Conceal and
They
other
didn't lose
concealed
Brawl.
stuff.
It's just they're not
Sorry,
playing it.
sorry. This deck is not playing Brawl. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So these are some strikes against it, even though maybe the matchup still might favor the Warrior from our opinion. It's an interesting perspective.
Well, it's a good start to a rogue hand, I'd say. Like this type of hand can lead to a really disgusting game if he gets gadgets in the nick of time here.
Followed by Prep, Conceal, Prep, Cold Blood.
Well, in some scenarios, those consecutive draws are awesome.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, it's really cool because it feels like Ostkaka has found, like, when he was playing with the Cold Bloods on the Farseer, it felt like he found a way to win that was not something that a lot of people would have done. You know, it's a very aggressive route that ended up not working out, but I would say like 8 or 9 times out of 10, that's a win. So, you know, Ty's definitely feeling very fortunate here. He's got the Fierce Monkey to answer the Deadly Poison Dagger, which is just a really nice curve. 3, 4, 5, followed by a couple bashes, which line up very well against some of those smaller threats from Rogue.
All right, well, that's the Gadgetzan you wanted.
Gadgetzan, and I mean, he's also got Azure Drake to start drawing stuff before it too. So he's got some really good tools. I'm really liking Rogue's hand, even though Dragon Warrior's curving out pretty well.
The choice to kill the monkey there is to allow the Tomb Pillager to stay alive 1 turn because it's so difficult to do this 4 damage. You really have to do like some executing. And I mean, I know it's in the deck, right? Execute is in this warrior deck, but we haven't seen it in like forever.
Right. It's weird. Normally in those executes, it's one of Warrior's premium removal spells. You'd rather drop Shield Slam before you drop the execute. That's what most Warrior decks do. Even if you're playing Face Warrior or Patron Warrior, you'd rather have the executes than the Shield Slams. Yeah. So I'm surprised we haven't seen access to it as easily. Maybe they did cut one of the executes. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where you have so much stuff that you want to jam pack in a Dragon deck because there's so many synergies across the board. Maybe they did end up dropping a couple of removal pieces. I'm not sure.
All right. Well, pretty good opportunity for the Black and Corruptor to start to come back. I mean, this is again one of those games where the control deck is on the ropes the whole time against the Rogue, but we've seen that those are winnable.
Yeah, definitely. Winnable if they just flip the switch and Rogue can't answer it immediately. If Rogue uses all its saps and eviscerates and then Ysera somehow comes out safely, then Warrior will just outcard the Rogue. I mean, it's just such a story that Rogue players have known for years now. You're going to run out of cards. You're going to be top decking against decks that gain a lot of life, and you're going to need to establish the board and hope that your minions can attack 3 times to face or more.
Thank you.
All right. Well, looks like it's all out on the minion. Goes for the face hit. I think against something that wasn't a warrior or a priest, you'd probably trade there. But the face hit is just important because you know the warrior gains quite a bit of armor. You know you're not dealing with quite 30 health. It's a good deal more than that.
Man, if only Bash was able to do 4. You know what's so funny, Krip? Back when GVG and all of them were first starting to really hit its stride along with Naxxramas, everyone kept saying that 4 was no longer a good health. Everyone was saying 5 was the key. That's why 5/5s were really good.
That
Because
was
Shredder
4
was
again.
4 attack.
Yeah.
Shredder was 4 attack, Swipe was around, Death Bite was around, so everyone wanted to play 5, but now it seems to be 4 is the really inconvenient number still. Because we lost access to so much of that. And that's what people were talking about when you're talking about extending the power levels of cards.
Well, it's time to draw.
Here we go. So Eviscerate with Cold Bloods, that's a lot of draw potential here. And damage potential. would you Cold Blood first? Because you might be able to pick up Prep. Yeah, because Prep, Eviscerate, and then you can Dagger for the Deadly Poison next turn. I like it. Yeah, very, very small, subtle thing, but could make a difference if you're really trying to squeeze it out all kinds of efficiency, especially against a player like Thijs. This is the mark of a good player once again by Ostkaka.
And Thijs can't really do much to remove this whole board. He can bash down either the Drake or the Gadgetzan. He's gonna go for the Drake.
Yep, coin. Try to see if you can once again kill off this other.
Oh, you can kill both off because of the Taurus. Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that.
person. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really strong from this point. And, well, you know, with a prep, that also can be a big Van Cleef. He just used 2 of his removal options. So you have to imagine that, you know, he doesn't have many ways to strike back. Oh, man. Prep
fan.
You probably play Conceal after you drop the...
No, I don't think there's any concealing here.
Okay.
I think you've seen a lot of removal, and you're just banking on this not
10-10.
being victimized by it.
Is the execute come now? You know, I'm really starting to think maybe, like, now that you mentioned it, I didn't really pay attention to it in the past, but I really can't remember last time I saw an execute.
Mm-hmm. Well, the warrior's still quite healthy. Maybe it's just time to Ysera. Looks like it.
Ysera tries to draw something big. The
That is big.
Not bad against the Van Cleef, except there's a conceal play.
Yeah.
So now he needs, like, brawl.
No, he's just gonna spam taunts next turn and hope for the best. But that is gonna be quite hopeful.
Yeah, he just dumped everything. Farseer as well. He goes in. It's basically a hot pot at this moment. Just throw it all. Making quite the stew here. And back over to the warrior. Needs to immediately try to do something. He doesn't have a dragon to even get taunts. I think you slammed your Sarah to try and draw a little bit more here.
Yeah.
You need a chance to draw into a taunt minion.
Yeah, as it stands, you lose to the board. That's not good enough. You have to slam. I don't know what can come out of this. But maybe there's actually a brawl in here that Ysera wins and gets everyone salty. Looks like that's not the case, though.
Except Thijs. Thijs wouldn't be salty. That is enough. More than enough. And Ysera not able to do anything against the might of the 10-10 Van Cleef. These conceal Van Cleef plays from Ostkaka are so ballsy, man. I don't know how he sits down.
I think maybe the players have analyzed the decks better than we have. I think there's some chance Execute is completely cut from that deck. I think we might just be reminiscing off the other failed warrior decks at the tournament.
That's a good point. What a weird, radical concept to play a control-y style of mid-range like Dragon Warrior without Grom, without executes, like, at least from what we've seen, right? I mean, we've seen Varian pulled almost every game by now, so surely we would have seen other cards pulled if that deck was any good at drawing those cards. We'll see. Druid versus Priest. This time Ostkaka's on the Druid. Thijs going to try and flip the advantage back into his favor because Ostkaka should be up 2-0, but Thijs managed to sneak one away and even it up.
I do like the position of the Priest here. I think the Priest with a decent hand can adequately fight against the Druid, unless ramp is too rampant. And it might be this time. I mean, that's a double Wild Growth hand, but I don't think you keep 2 Wild Growths ever.
Yeah, well, okay. It's not that you don't ever keep double Wild Growths, it's that if you do, there's a huge risk associated that you might not actually play the second one because you filled your deck out with plays from turn 3 onwards. So, yeah, there's a high chance that you might just want to play the minions instead of Wild Growth thing. Not to mention that you're also just down cards, because Wild Growth, after you gain the mana crystal, sinks into the abyss. There's just no way you can draw another card with it unless you cycle it at 10. And as a result, you're just down cards and no minions on board.
Yeah, he does have a good curve going out of it though. The raptor into the keeper, very nice. Not going to work all that well from what we see though.
Not really, because the way Priest plays, they play like a half mana curve above your opponent. So the War Rest Agent's like really 2.5, maybe even 3 mana. Same with like Twilight Guardian, same with the Blackwing Technician. All those cards are just slightly above their mana cost, which just makes it very hard for you to climb back if you spend your entire turn developing a slightly weaker minion.
We have the Twilight Whelp here, but if you play the Twilight Whelp, you can't play the Twilight Guardian next turn. So
yeah, I think I like the Brian.
Yeah, I think I like the Brand Pass. It is going to get punished by Swipe, and I think that's what Thijs is considering. Well, too bad.
Yeah,
Swipe it is.
Swipe is a punish, but it's also like weak reactive play from Druid, and you can play the Twilight Guardian, most likely being able to answer whatever comes out the following turn. So I'm still not hating the Priest position, even though Swipe here is really good. Trade first, see what comes out. I don't think there's anything really of value, even if it...
That's awesome.
That's pretty funny. That is so funny. Oh my goodness. Especially if it gets to the point where Priest can steal that. That would be hilarious.
That's true, actually.
You said that there's not many targets worth taking in the Druid if you're the Priest player, but that might be one of them.
I really like the Savage Combatant here.
Let's see. Savage Combatant is... Yeah, I guess it challenges pretty well. Like, even if your opponent Holy Novas is something you can't really kill it easily. No Valence chosen to punish you, so... I'm down. I think Savage Combatant's okay. It's also pretty good next turn, too, though.
Savage Combatant, if it dies the Holy Nova, would actually draw Ostkaka a card.
Right, because the No Shire Cleric. But I think it's also really... I think it's just as good next turn. Versus Keeper of the Grove next turn is a little bit weak to set up for the following. Like, because you don't get the hero power this turn. So I think it's okay to do this, for sure. You have also 2 Keepers of the Grove, so to increase the diversity of your plays.
Well, Thijs is thinking about playing Power Word Shield on the existing minion versus the taunt minion that he'd produce next turn. Guess they both win.
Wow. From Oasis Snapdraw to my Exna to... at this point, it's really just like... This 2-attack minion is not going to be doing too much.
Good. If he gets a dragon here, it'd be great. He does not. Oh, I would definitely not attack that. Oh, I guess he's thinking of stealing the Keeper.
Yeah. He's going to steal the Keeper of the Grove. Even though Northshire Cleric is awesome on paper, I still feel like you want to take the more stats on board. Drawing cards can be irrelevant. You can have 8 cards in hand but still be afraid of combo.
Well, that's a pretty good Emperor, too.
Well, the Emperor reduces the cost of Force of Nature, which is good. Even the Ancient of Lore being 6 mana is pretty effective as well, letting you squeeze in some other stuff on the following turns. But, you know, I think it's still pretty good opportunity, yeah, to use Savage Combatant because it just so happens to kill off this 2/6. And your hand is not the best for Thor's. You can still use it after Ancient of Lore as well, which is something people don't really think of too often. They think, oh, Thorsman curves into the Lore, but Lore can also be played before Thorsman to give you more cards to hit and reduce.
Alright, well, let's take a minion. Let's kill the Northshire.
Let me change your mind.
Yeah, take the more powerful minion. Savage Combatant, though. Oh my
Number 2.
gosh. That can be awesome. I mean, right now, Ancient of Lore still feels pretty good, but you have an option to snipe this 4/5 with just a hero power alone.
Yeah, that's very nice. I wonder if he's gonna... No, there's no point in attacking anything but face here.
Yeah.
If you're getting Holy Nova, you're getting Holy Nova.
No.
He already used Power Word Shield, so it doesn't feel like you can get punished too much for not hitting. Not to mention that you have 2 Savage Combatants, so now the onus is on him to like figure out a way to pressure, like to kill this and remove the from the board.
Mm-hmm. I think there's some chance that the priest will just spam the board. Twilight Whelp into Northshire into Azure Drake. Just again like a very desperate play.
Is someone injured?
It looks like he wants to heal and draw a card, pick up more options.
Oh, this could be a very bad option. And it is a very bad option.
Yikes. So we choose to pick up a card, which doesn't pay off. Force Nature number 2. Now we can play Hero Power and Thorson. Hero Power will kill the 2/3. Thorson will reduce 2 Force of Natures. Yeah, I mean, the Force of Natures being reduced is not that big of a deal, I guess.
It's pretty good. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
it's not bad.
If you think your Emperor will stay alive, that's great. And I think there's a very real expectation that it would stay alive.
Well, here's the fun thing. Now, because Force of Nature is 5 mana each, you actually have a 12 damage 2-card combo that I don't think they're necessarily expecting, because if you play Savage Roars, you're like, oh yeah, I can't really do anything. Nope, 2 Force of Natures for 12.
Holy Smite with the Azure Drake is a kill on the Emperor, but you have 2 big problems right now, not just one.
Right, Savage Combatant still a really big deal, but the Thorson is just a higher priority. It's almost insta-lose if Thijs just lets his Thorson live.
Yeah.
I wonder.
What about the Twilight Whelp? You think you should play that? You've already been swiped once.
Yeah, the thing about the Twilight Whelp is you can't really heal your
the
minion.
heal lets you, yeah, the heal lets you keep the Drake.
Yeah.
That's significantly better. Oh,
Alright.
no disgusting Omega combo there.
Omega combo.
Yeah. If he did get another Thorson tick, it would have been the Exodia there, right? Like that's,
It really is against Priest, because Priest can't heal beyond 30, and I mean the ultimate Force of Nature, Savage Roar is like 40 damage or something like that.
yeah. Well, even without the second Savage Roar, it's almost 30, isn't it? It's
30,
12
isn't it?
plus 14 is 26.
Oh, okay. Oh, just from the board. Counting the Savage Combatant, it's he goes for the Force of Nature, and I guess he can also play the Keeper if he wants to just get onto the board.
Sure.
But if this isn't a big signal that he has the combo, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Thijs has anything he can do about it. He just kind of has to take it and hope that he doesn't have it.
Change your mind.
Yep.
Man, this is the struggle of the Priest against the Druid. And once again, Thijs is going to drop this match. He's going to have to kill the aggro Shaman of Ostkaka in order to stay relevant in the series.
Yeah, that might be a little bit difficult to do. He does have 2 decks that are tailored quite well to do that, but we have seen that with some draws, the aggro Shaman is basically unstoppable. And we have to also consider that Ostkaka is not really playing the typical aggro Shaman. We've seen a ton of aggro Shaman, and it's easy to forget that Ostkaka is not playing quite that list. He's playing a list with 2 Tuskar Totemics and at least 1 hex. I'm pretty sure 2 hexes, just based on the frequency that we've seen them. And that might have a big implication where a lot of why Thijs has been successful with dealing with shamans is because of these like big taunt minions and that kind of stuff. And the hex might play into that. It might be bigger board developments. We've seen that the warrior basically has zero ways to clear the board.
Yeah. I think the big thing that you have to really consider as well is like how good the shaman can curve, because if it didn't curve well, we saw one of the weirdest lines that ended up working well with Zolay yesterday, right? Against Life Coach. He had Doomhammer, Rockbiter, Elemental Destruction, and like a 2-drop, like Flame Juggler. And he's like, you know what? Forget trying to like Rockbiter down this Northshire and just playing far behind in damage. I'm just going to wait for him to load the board and then inevitably play Elemental Destruction and combo him down. That kind of stuff is more of like how Shaman has to adapt around the burst, but also a bigger implication that Priest still can't finish the Shaman, and Shaman can just sit collecting cards for a while and try to end the game.
It's going to be a very different Shaman game here, I believe. Looks like the Trog opener is going to have a big impact, though.
Yeah, the Trog gives so much weight to the actual cards because they deal damage and they have an effect. So, Ancestral Knowledge, deal 2 damage, draw 2 cards. Feral Spirit, deal 2 damage, summon 2 2/3s. So, all these different
play
things.
The Northshire.
Is someone injured?
Oh!
Wow, he's going to get destroyed.
Wow! Even more than we realize.
Yeah. So now Lightning Bolt is a relevant thing to snipe something and then also buff it even more. I have to imagine you want to play Wormrest Agent here. What's a 1-mana overload card besides Lightning Bolt?
Just Lightning Bolt.
Right. I think so. So if Lightning Bolt's the only 1-mana overload, then you don't have anything else to be afraid of because you can't.
Oh,
well,
that works. But I was thinking that Lightning Bolt face might actually be the play.
What I don't like about that is the overload, and I want to be able to play 4-mana next turn for sure. But I guess it also does set up your. It does set up your Doomhammer a lot worse because you don't have that 5-mana access.
Oh man, there's another one. Replacements have arrived.
Not bad. He even has the Pyromancer coin. Wormrest Agent. Pretty sick. That's exactly what you're looking for with this Pyromancer. Just not like the flashy kill the board full of 1/1s of Vada Teacher token. Just like gain some tempo, threaten your opponent, and now the Shaman is in an awkward spot. I don't want to actually set myself up that I can't Doomhammer, but what do I do this turn then?
Yeah. Well, you can perhaps play Finley, and if the best option for hero powers is a mage, you can just maybe ping and drop your turn that way. And that way you're not overloaded. You can Doomhammer down the 2/4 next turn.
That's a good point. That might be the best way to set up the weapon. Doomhammer is so valuable to how you pressure the priest, but if it was only that 2/4, you could argue that maybe it's better. But that Pyromancer out there, it becomes really complicated because it's an extra 3 damage. The spells that it can combo with are very powerful. Just have to be careful.
All right, let's see what it is. Oh, we don't get to see the hero powers. Damn. It's more.
Oh, there it is. The Hunter hero power. That is when Thrall has hit the first level of Super Saiyan, and now he's just gonna really rush.
What do you do here? I feel like the Wild Pyromancer is so important against this deck that it kind of sucks to throw it away.
Yeah, so I guess you could Power Word Shield, and then love tap the Finley, and then heal up the minion. You can hit it with the Wormrest Agent and heal it back to full health. I kind of like that, but maybe he's just gonna ignore it. Just say you can keep your minion. You already used Abusive Sergeant, so
Yeah, the more I see this, the more convinced I am this is the best play. I mean, it sucks to have a passive play against this deck, but it's just so much better in terms of results.
Well, I mean, the passive play would be to be very defensive and just keep clearing the minion. Now it's going. This is actually a very aggressive play to lower the life and just be like, okay, I'm gonna play for the board. And I kind of like that as well. Do you want to put the more health on the Twilight Guardian, or do you want to put it onto the Pyromancer?
I think against any other Shaman you'd put it on the Guardian, but against this one you have to deal with Earthshock and Hex.
Right, that's a good point. You don't want to all in You don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. Make the Twilight Guardian it's already a lightning rod for removal, but even making it more so. Thijs does not respect the Murlocs at all. He's gonna hit the face twice.
No, I think he's gonna trade. I think he's just weighing in his options.
Yeah.
The trade is very good there. That Farseer is interesting though.
I like it because I think he's anticipating that he's probably going to play Cabal Shadow Priest, and he wants to get more pressure onto the board. With 2 attacks to the face with this 9 on the board, that's lethal. Assuming that works out as conveniently as we said. And Ostkaka only has defensive board control cards. I mean, you could make a case that this might even be a mid-range Shaman hand outside of that Lava Burst.
You can completely clear this board with spells. You can do Lightning Bolt, Lava Shock on the Pyromancer, and then Lava Burst on the 3/5.
Alright, Hex accomplishes the same thing. However, there's still going to be minions following up. This would be a fantastic play if Thijs didn't have any minions to play, but he still has some. I think you still, like, assuming he doesn't pick anything else up.
Oh, that's a good thing to pick up.
Yep, that's perfect. Because if you play Cabal Shadow Priest, he wouldn't get the value, and he is about to get the value.
I feel like if you really want to battle for minions, you have to fully control the board. I feel like we might see an Ancestral Knowledge first, and I think he might delay flooding the board with minions one more turn.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You might want to delay it and stagger it so you don't completely overwhelm yourself. Plus, you really need.
Well, you can get a Hex as well. I think he has 2. He seems to draw at least 1 every single game. Oh wow!
It's a lot of juggles as time goes on.
Are you sure we're out of GBG and Nax cards?
If you're missing Implosion, you can always just use Feral Spirits.
Ostkaka saves an attack on his Doomhammer as the priest is at 30, and attacking once might not actually accomplish anything. If the priest has floating mana, he would just heal.
No value on the Cabal, but you know, even though we see the Feral Spirits, Thijs just wants to take a very strong aggressive stance onto the board, or shock a turn too late. Now, also, Ostkaka's in a position of, man, I really want to start hero powering. I really need to start doing the damage, but I can't. Way too overloaded. What do I
He's
even...
got a pass.
What?
I think it's hero power pass.
Hit once to the face, hero power?
I don't even know about that. I think that's what he's considering. I'd be really surprised to see a Knife Juggler here. He needs to stretch this out as far as possible.
Knife Juggler and 2 Feral Spirits costs 8 mana. So,
two charges on the weapon just in case a Rock Biter is drawn.
yeah, it makes sense.
More healing. Thijs is back up to full HP again.
I wonder if he's just gonna hold on to it, but I think he should still play the Farseer. Except he has no real threat for lethal unless he picks up Holy Nova. So he might feel like he wants to maximize his heals, like make Farseer heal for 5 than 4.
I disagree with that because I think next turn he wants to play Nefarian.
Yeah.
Eyes.
I mean, I'm down for the heal thing, because you might draw into lethal. You might not need Nefarian. The moment you pick up Blackwing Corruptor, the game's over. From that perspective. But we know that
Knife Juggler, what you got? These could be some really good juggles.
Put this apple on your head.
it just needs to land on minions and not face.
I think it just has to land on the one minion. There's a very small chance you actually kill the 4 or 5. I think he's thinking about playing the Totem Golem here, so he can get an extra hero power in. And I think that might be correct.
I think that's good because
What to
you really need to start maximizing your damage as much as possible. It's also, you don't really give up too much more damage, and it's just like a really effective way to do it. I don't know if you want to even attack with the Doom Hammer, because if you pick another Doom Hammer, you can still attack with it after you break your first one. All right, is it time
Nefarian
to play
time.
conservative, or is it time to play Nefarian?
Always time to play Nefarian.
I mean, the thing is, there's also a viable other play. You can Shadow Word Pain and play the Twilight Up and heals. You float 4 mana, though. It doesn't feel that great.
No. There are a lot of cards here that work very well. You also have to keep in mind that Thijs doesn't know that Ostkaka has more taunts. So if he plays Nefarian, kills 1 taunt here, he still has the Shadow Word Pain. Rock Spider and Ancestral's Call. Well, one of those is decent. The Rockbiter might counter another taunt minion, so if he gets like another Shadow Word Pain or another way to kill the 3rd taunt minion, he might push for lethal here.
Yeah, sure. Let's see, 3, 6, 8, 10, 15, 17 damage. Still a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, with, by the way, the upside of juggles.
That's a great juggle.
Oh
That's
my
an
god.
excellent juggle.
Ty's shaking his head. Oh, devastating.
I think it's time to go. It's time to go. Just all out face. Let's go.
I bet he wished that Cabal Shadow Priest stole one of the wolves. That'd be great. Now, Shadow Word Pain, Rock Biters. You only can clear so much.
Is that it?
Ball
That looks
Shadow
like it.
Priest. Wow.
I think that's it.
Yeah, you can hit face. You can clear. You can clear one of the wolves by
Let me
stealing it.
change your mind.
You can shoot it with the spell, and he has the Rock Biter.
Even Thijs is surprised. He's like, whoa, I won?
Yeah, I think he was really devastated by that previous play. And that means we're going to game 5. That was pretty epic.
It was pretty epic. That Nefarian came down just in time. I think if he actually held back on Nefarian, he would have lost that game.
Yeah, it's too defensive of a play. Man, that Shaman's still presenting a threat. Can't believe it.
Yeah, but now it's Shaman Warrior. I feel like Thijs might have the advantage here. I think that's the best matchup for the Warrior. I'm not sure it's over 50%, but I think it is. Barely.
I mean, it's still in the process of discovery. I think we don't know for sure. I think we're using anecdotal evidence plus theory crafting. Some of these matchups that you'll see in, say, the upcoming winter preliminaries this weekend for North America, those decks have been played thousands and thousands of times. Yeah. Therefore, we really understand how matchups work. In this case, Dragon Warrior is still in this weird floaty thing. They don't even have Execute, which happens to be okay against a low health minion base in this deck. Not to mention that they don't really necessarily have the Death Bite, which used to help clear a lot of the early game. They have to rely on a Wrathy Weaponsmith instead. So going to game number 5, this is where it's all on the line. Who is going to fight against Savitz in the grand finals? Ostkaka or Thijs? The opening hands seem to be
undecided. I mean,
yeah.
Thijs is probably going through his head like, how many of these things am I going to drop to get Fiery War Axe? I need Fiery War Axe. How deep are we going here?
Right.
We're going deep. 3.
He even throws away Bash, which is a card that you can definitely use, but he'd rather have that early game. Oh, wait, no, he kept Bash. Okay, well, looks like.
No, I think he drew into the other one.
Oh, exactly, then. It just so happened to be the same position.
I think so. I think it really looked like a 3-card mulligan. Maybe it was a bug with Spectator, though. Maybe I just didn't see it correctly. But Thijs' opener is okay. The main problem is Ostkaka's opener is outstanding. So, yeah. It is a bit of an issue.
Yeah, he has a couple of options. He can go for a normal curve. He can also go for a hyper-aggressive curve where he can use the Knife Juggler as turn 1 and then play off of that. Like, you can play the Tunnel Trawl, because you don't have direct overload, so it doesn't really benefit too much from playing turn 1. And then Abusive Sergeant or Rockbiter as needed. I personally like being really aggressive.
Yeah. I kind of like the Tunnel Trog. I think if you have to weigh in all the cards you might draw, if you play Tunnel Trog, the chance that you get a 1, 2, or 3 mana overload is really, really, really high.
Put this apple on your head.
Alright, works for me. Juggler comes out. The War
Fire War
right off
Axe!
the top. Oh my god. Wow.
Wow.
He leans in like, oh wow, I can't believe I got that.
Oh,
you know
there's
what?
the overload card.
That could be the mark of, you know, Thijs getting the card he needs to get revenge on Ostkaka.
I think the minions are bad enough that you actually totem here.
Total Trog actually isn't anything. It's just it might as well be a 1/1. Doesn't do anything in this
It's
scenario.
trash. I think if you hero power, the warrior might not clear it. You might get some presence on the board, and
Right.
you can ancestral next turn, which you probably would anyway, because you can't do it on the turn after that.
Right. Next turn he doesn't. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He has Doomhammer. He wants to Doomhammer on 5. He wants to ancestral on 3 so he can escape that overload. I get why he played his minions. Okay.
My eyes.
Farseer number 1. By the way, he has Bash, Farseer. He has like 3 Farseers basically, and an
Armorsmith.
Armorsmith.
It's gonna help.
It's gonna help a lot. At this point, there's almost no reason Thijs can't survive the early game.
It would really suck to have to use a Rockbiter here, but I think that's what we're about to see.
Yeah. You know, realistically, it might be the case where Ostkaka feels like the only way he can win is to build up a very imposing board presence. So he's just gonna forego that and use Doomhammer the same way he did last game, where he was trying to establish board control and then push for 2-3 turns of a lot of damage.
It hasn't worked out all that well so far, but it has been some very close games.
Another Fiery War Axe. How does he do it? You know, it feels like the Dragon Warrior was waiting for this kind of start all tournament long. This could be the first time that we've seen, like, this imposing of a start. Actually, I take that back. We did see one time, Krip, where the start was this good, but Dragon Warrior lost anyways. It was against Druid.
Yeah, that sounds about right. As good as the draws are with the Warrior potentially, they don't match up as well against Druid. The Fiery War Axes don't kill quite as many minions as they do against the Shaman. And I believe in that case the Druid had some ramp and it just outpaced the Warrior. Now the Shaman is capable of outpacing the Warrior. It's just, well, it has failed to do that, and we're 4 turns in. So this is a pretty rough spot to be in.
Man, Lava Shocking. That is not ideal at all.
That's the worst totem. It has 1 free armor.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 free armor.
Well, I think you can take the time to initiate the Azure Drake. Even
No.
Oh, you're gonna actually go for
You get
it.
2 full health armor smiths. This is so hard to deal with that. How do you beat that? It's impossible. And we know Ostkaka doesn't have elemental destruction, at least from what we've seen, but we've seen a lot of that.
All right. When I see it actually put out
Like,
onto the board,
what are you're gonna kill both armor smiths? So the warrior's at like what 36 with a bash and a 2 armor hero power. It's like you just
that
don't have
Farseer-
enough damage.
The Farseer is actually worth so much more health than 3 in this scenario.
Yeah,
You have no choice but to hit base.
yeah. Any minions that are played actually give a ridiculous amount of armor. Oh my god!
Oh man, Thijs is about to completely run away with this game. He's got tank up. I mean, at this point, he's gonna need like 3 Doom Hammers to get through everything. Because
The only chance he has is the
alone
face.
negates the Doom Hammer damage. Not even.
He has
How
to
much
face every single turn, but I don't think he can win.
Locked out. You know, this wasn't a turn 6 kill by reducing your health to 0. It was a turn 6 kill by landing just a True Heart.
I mean, you can bash your own minion to gain 5 HP.
Yeah, you could also. I mean, if you really want to BM, I would probably go for that line. But I think Thijs is probably a little bit too mature for that.
No, I just feel like Ostkaka right now is calculating the absolute best possible case with draws if he goes face, and it looks like he's realized he can't win if he goes face. That's why we're seeing some minion destruction here.
Yeah, and he's gonna kill both armor smiths. Just kind of suck it up. So the armor smiths gained
Just one.
8 health. Oh, sorry, 5 health so far for it.
All right. Well, the Azure Drake drops any kind of dragon synergy, but armor up, boys. Tank up, in fact. Wow. Well, there's the
Also
Rock
just
Spider.
Card. I mean, here's another thing though. Like something to consider is that warriors not have many cards remaining, and it is very possible for them to just run dry, pick up other stuff that they can't play, and just. It's almost, it feels like he was all in on the plan of being super defensive, but it does have one of the best defenses I've seen in a while.
All right, what are we looking for here? I think Paladin minions are pretty decent. Oh, we're looking for face, apparently.
Oh yeah, you just need to generate damage somehow. Some way, somehow. You need to hunt your hero power to keep the tank up in check. You're gonna kill the minions with this?
Yep.
Kill the armor smith and the Azure Drake and really gotta get mileage out of hitting with minions repeatedly. But it doesn't matter because he's got bash, shield slam. Oh, no dragon though. That's
This is
okay.
a pretty good clear, though.
You play. You don't even have to tank up here. You can play the Brand Bronzebeard. You can tank up also if you want to be really safe, but it's almost somewhat inconsequential in the big picture. I think Ostkaka might be locked out.
The other thing to consider is sometimes in this scenario, the Shaman is capable of drawing like a few extra pieces, but Ostkaka has already played through all his card draw already. So Ostkaka is also drawing just 1 card at a time from this point on in the game. Like, I just don't see how his draws are going to be significantly better than Thijs's. And that warrior, I mean, by the time he can even possibly die, he's going to collectively have, what, like 50 health?
Something like that. If we round down. He plays Pharaoh Spirits. Pharaoh Spirits, and how you have to kill the Farseer to protect your Pharaoh Spirits.
Okay. I think he has to kill both those minions. You'll be at 4. Remember, warriors can't do 4 damage.
I can do 3.
Yeah.
The spell powered bash it can, but it already used both bashes, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll have to leave the Bran up.
The cavalry's here.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. So let's kill the farce here, and I guess we'll go to work. No one said it was easy, Ostkaka.
Okay. A dragon will do it. And a dragon will
Wow.
do.
There it is. Game number 5 goes to Thijs, and the repercussions of winning game number 1 in the way he did, having the Druid steal one from the Rogue was such a big deal, because now it ends up giving him the extra edge, and that's going to wrap up the series. Thijs is our second finalist to face against Savitz for the right to call themselves the Curse Trials champions.
Well, one of the G2 members did it. Looks like their hard work is paying off pretty well. Very good results from this lineup. I did kind of bet on Thijs, but I did bet against Warrior, and somehow Warrior is barely pulling in some wins, just in time to seal up matches.
Really cool. Really interesting to see 2 priest decks make it to the finals. I don't think people were expecting to see that. So we're going to get ready for the grand finals, guys, between Thijs and Savitz. But before we do that, we're going to take a break. We also want to give a thank you to the sponsors at Geek Fuel, the Curse Network, to Hearthpone, as well as the Innkeeper.com stuff. It's a My Collection manager for those Hearthstone fans really wanting to keep up with the decks and make sure they keep tabs on all their favorite meta stuff. But we're going to be right back, guys. And it's time for the grand finals to see who calls themselves the first champion here of the Curse Trials, presented by Team Archon. Stay tuned.